The Twisteds in Dandy's world are a very curious case. What I mean is we play as direct counterparts to them, being the toons, and yet they still hunt us. So today I'll be covering the lore behind the Twisteds. Now if there's ever any speculation going into what I'm saying, I'll make it clear that it's not confirmed. With that being said, I'm your host Quazar, and let's get into the lore. In total, there are 28 toons. We can only play as 27 because one of them is made for testing. The developers use it to test the game is what I mean. But there are also 28 Twisteds. What we first need to go over is what caused the toons to turn twisted. Now there are multiple ways, and I've gotten a list of 3 on how they can turn twisted. The first one is on a vice or a bad quality that they have, to be overcome by ichor, or a third reason that I'll go over much later in the video. But for now, let's go over the first case. The first way a toon can turn twisted is if it has a problem that is exploited. What I will start with is Gigi's gambling addiction. Now, that is very clearly why she turns twisted. She is very greedy and ends up stealing items even while twisted. What I will now talk about is Sprout, Glisten, and Cosmo, but specifically Sprout. All of them have a type of separation anxiety and go insane due to not having friends nearby. It is very clear that Glisten relies on having others around to boost his ego. As for Cosmo and Sprout, they're just best friends, and when they're separated, that's why they turn twisted, which doesn't make the most sense unless it's their character. In the show, they are friends with each other, and that reflects their personality in the actual game. Another toon with something like this is Astro, who stands out the most here because he turns twisted due to grief. What that grief is, I go over in a different video that's already on the channel that you can check out. It's going to be in the corner, but also pop up at the end of the video. But he turns twisted due to grief. And that is the most unique way a toon has turned twisted so far. But with all that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the second case now. Being overcome by ichor is one of the other ways toons turn twisted. We know that Poppy, Louie, Boxen, and Rudy, just to name a few, are being overcome by ichor. And it means exactly what it says. It's just to be overcome. Now this likely occurred during an accident involving the machines or something else, though nothing is confirmed about this. And it is definitely going to be painful for the Twisted in question. The way they are overcome, like I've said already, is unknown. What we do know is that some toons are in pain. We know this thanks to a few toons, but I'll bring up Goob first because I have footage of him. Goob is clearly more aware than most toons, and a great contrast to his sister, Scraps. The contrast between both of their Twisteds, Goob looks to be in pain and suffering, sorrowful. That's a word, right? Whereas Scraps has gone full supervillain. Her face says it all. She has gone insane thanks to the ichor. The only time she even seems bothered is when she loses sight of a toon. Goob, on the other hand, may possibly not even want to hurt the players. The reason being, his whole character is based around hugs. And it is more than plausible that he just wants a hug, but the ichor has twisted his thoughts and fogged his mind, as well as him now having claws. Perhaps he even thinks he is helping, but we honestly don't know. But I'm now going to go ahead and move on to the third case. Now we have to talk about Dandy, the star of the show. So I made an entire video about this guy, so I won't go too in depth here, but Dandy runs this thing called the ichor operation and was the first to turn twisted. If you want to know more about that, you'll be able to easily see it at the end of the video. There will be an entire video that pops up, but for now, we're going to go back to talking about the rest of the normal Twisteds. Now we've come full circle. The Twisteds are the main antagonists of Dandy's world. They will often hurt us, with some actually being semi-docile. Most, however, will chase you until you hide for long enough, or die. The more docile Twisteds are Glisten, Razzle and Dazzle, Roger, and Connie, but there are also the more dangerous Twisteds, being the mains. The first main toon I'll be going over is V. V is very dangerous to get because she has two very powerful abilities. Except she's slow, she would be very overpowered if she wasn't slow. Her first ability makes you slow when you're spotted and at random times while she's chasing you, which is not good, especially if you run out of stamina or something. Her second ability is pop-up ads, and you will notice this as soon as you go into a floor. But the reason she turned twisted is still unknown as of now. Now, onto our second main toon. Twisted Shelly is also a force to be reckoned with, except she doesn't have the most noticeable ability. You'll notice it, but it's not exactly as good as V's. She gives you Confusion 1, which makes your extraction speed slower, and for V's ability, she puts pop-up ads on the screen. I really don't understand why Shelly makes you confused, but anytime you get Shelly on a floor, you'll notice instantly. Furthermore, we actually do know why Shelly turned twisted. It's because she was forgotten by everyone, the other toons, and the children that were in lore of the game that had the show. Okay, anyway, on to our third main toon. Next up is Astro. Now, Astro is not a nightmare to deal with, ironically. It would have been funny if it was the other way around, but anyway, he's very easy to deal with as long as you have a good skill check. His main ability is when you're spotted and at random times, just like how V afflicts slowness, he will make you tired, which makes you regenerate stamina slower, which isn't really that effective when you're being chased because your stamina doesn't regenerate anyway. His second ability, however, makes it so anytime you fail a skill check, a decent chunk is removed from the amount of ichor in a machine. This has led to the fan theory that he drinks the ichor, which doesn't make sense, but there's honestly no other way to go about it. And we do know how he turns twisted. It is due to him griefing. He griefs for likely the ichor operation. Now onto our fourth Twisted. Twisted Sprout is ridiculously easy to deal with. He's slow, and for some reason he has a smaller hitbox than other toons. It's weird. Like, you can run past his legs, but you can't do that with Boxton. And his main attack is his tentacle. That's it. He has a floor tentacle that comes out and smacks you. Very easy to deal with, just like don't go by the floor tentacle. He's incredibly easy to outrun, and one of the few toons to have it's like an AoE attack, area of effect, and it kind of prevents you. It can guard a machine, which is not good. Anyway, the reason he turns twisted, as stated earlier, is separation anxiety. It says that because he is not by his best friend, he turns twisted, and that's it. Yeah, that's all there is about Sprout. Anyway, now on to our fifth main Twisted. Twisted Pebble is the most dangerous Twisted in the game. The second to one that I'll go over in a minute. But his entire thing is he has the best sight and speed as a Twisted. He can see you from across the map and will start rushing towards you, giving you little time to find cover. And you can rarely outrun him. You have to be a dedicated distractor to outrun this guy, which is insane. Furthermore, he actually doesn't have an ability, and we sadly don't know why he turned twisted. But now on to the sixth main toon for now. Now, depending on when you're watching this may confuse some of you, because as of right now, you can always get 5 main toons. But Babette is a main toon as well as an event toon. She only appears during her designated event. However, she is incredibly powerful. She is nearly as fast as Pebble, and her ability allows her to hear people pick up items, and she will full sprint to them, which is dangerous. So if there's a band-aid on the floor, you pick it up, she's coming for you. Luckily, if you don't pick up items, she's pretty slow with her walk speed and kind of easy to avoid. Now, on to the most dangerous toon in the game. The only lethal toon in the game. Twisted Dandy. Remember how I said we'd come back to this later? Well, right now is later. Look at your clock. It doesn't say later, but now is later. Anyway, Twisted Dandy is the only lethal toon in the game. I've already said that like 3 times in this video. Anyway, again, okay, yes. He is lethal, which gives him the ability to deal one-shots. Even if you have 3 hearts, 1 shot. When you're at 1 heart, this does nothing. If you're hit, you're dead, no matter what. Wait, actually, I don't know about Savory Charm. Someone try Savory Charm and tell me if it works on Dandy. Please. Anyway, yeah. Despite his very powerful ability, he's a pushover. He's incredibly slow, both walk and run speed. Very easy to avoid. The only dangerous thing about him is he hears you coming. No, he hears you finish a machine. That's what I mean by that. Anytime you finish a machine, he'll head over there. Which, just run away from the machine you finished. Why are you still there? Anyway, I already said that for like 6 times. That was a full breakdown for both the lore and gameplay of the Twisteds. Now, there was a ton to go over, so if I missed anything, please don't yell at me in the comments. Also, I have a Roblox group. It's called The Quarry of Questions, and if you join, you could win 500 Robux. I'm going to be doing a giveaway later this week. Now, there's going to be a pinned comment with the link to the goal. Furthermore, I'm currently at 1,000, nearly 100 subscribers, and my goal is to get 10,000 before the start of summer. We only have a few months, so please subscribe. Well, that was a video about all the Twisteds and stuff. With that being said, I'm your host, Quazar. I hope you have a terrific day, and until next time, well, first I hope you tune in next time, and until next time, stay entertained. Bye! Wait, I actually forgot that video I mentioned about the Igor operation in Dandy. That's going to be on your screen now. Okay, bye.